Death Wish is a new vigilante action movie directed by Eli Roth, starring Bruce Willis. So this movie revolves around Bruce Willis. He's a normal guy. He works as a surgeon. He's married to Elizabeth Shue. They have a daughter who's just about to go off to college. And then one night when Bruce Willis is called in to go to work at the hospital, his house gets robbed by these guys. These guys only had the intention of just robbing his house. Once he found out that people were in the house, they ended up killing his wife and putting his daughter into a coma. And yeah, and then after that, Bruce Willis goes on a revenge rampage mission, the kind you've seen in movies a billion times before. That's why I gotta say, going into this movie, I really didn't have a lot of high hopes for it. I saw the trailer, I saw what the plot was, I'm just like, oh, it's this kind of movie again. Yay. And then I found out this movie is also a remake of another movie called Death Wish that came out in the 70s, which only lowered my confidence for the movie. That being said, I like Bruce Willis as an action actor. I'm not the biggest fan of Eli Roth as a director, but when I saw the trailer and I saw the plot, I'm just like, alright, maybe this can at least be a movie I can have fun with. Okay, so starting off, let me get into the things that I did like about this movie. I did think Bruce Willis was fine in this movie. We all know he thrives as an action movie star. He's one of the best to ever do it in action movies. But at the same time, you could tell he doesn't necessarily have high faith in this movie. He's here because someone offered him a movie part and he was going to get paid. That's why he took this movie. I will also say, there is one area that this movie does focus on that I did appreciate. You know, it's after the robbery occurs, it's after his wife has passed away, it's after his daughter has been recovering in the coma. Obviously, at this point, the police have to get involved, you know, to investigate the murders, investigate the robbery, and Bruce Willis is getting very impatient with these cops because he doesn't feel they're maybe taking it too seriously. He doesn't feel that they're getting the information that they need as quickly as they can. Because he's obviously approaching the feds and he's telling them, it's like, these people striked my house. They'll do it to someone else's house. They'll kill someone else's wife and kid. You gotta get them off the streets. You gotta give my family justice. And you know, the feds try to tell them, it's like, look, it's not that simple. We gotta do a lot of investigating. And even if we do find the guys, we have to fingerprint them, arrest them, question them, get the details from them. Yeah, it's a very long process. We can't just arrest them and then throw them into prison. And like I said, I appreciate that the movie brought that up because I'm sure that goes for anyone who's ever been a part of, I don't know, being a victim from a criminal. You know, whether someone has been robbed or mugged or they had a friend or family member murdered, they want justice. They want their friend or family to get justice. You know, they want answers. I am, of course, not disrespecting at all what police officers do, what the federal government does in trying to, you know, bring these criminals down. I'm just saying, for a lot of people, they want justice right away. They want justice immediately because they can't just wait. They can't just wait for these guys to get brought down because who knows how long that could take. Some of these cases go on for a really, really, really long time. And finally just reaches a point with Bruce Willis. He's like, okay, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck waiting. I'm going out and I'm going to take these fuckers down myself. And then from this point forward is where the movie does start to lose me a little bit because it does, in my opinion, get a little bit unbelievable. I mean, obviously, you know, you're fully on board with Bruce Willis to try to seek justice, try to do what he can do. But I will say it is a little bit unbelievable how quickly he becomes this expert, I don't know, manhunter. I don't know, manhunter's not the right word. This expert vigilante is probably a better way to put it. And he sees this one girl getting abducted into a car. It's a clear carjacking, so he ends up stopping these guys. You know, he shoots the guys down who are trying to kidnap her. At one point later on, he's treating a kid in a hospital who was, you know, beaten down by this drug dealer, and then he goes, finds the drug dealer, and he shoots him down and kills him. And the reason this became kind of unbelievable for me is because he was never at any point someone who was really skilled with a gun. It's not like he was ever in the army or with the CIA. You know, he literally has just bought a gun from a gun store and has followed YouTube videos on how to use a gun, you know, how to shoot it, how to reload it, whatever it might be. And immediately he's going after these guys, these criminals who do this shit quite often, and he's taking them down pretty apparently and very easily. And that right there was where the movie just pretty much lost me entirely. I just find it very hard to believe that this guy who has no experience whatsoever handling a gun is now able to just take these criminals down. So, you know, he becomes an internet sensation called the Grim Reaper. There are people, you know, on radio shows and, you know, people in the feds wonder, it's like, oh, was this guy a hero? Is he a villain? What is he? Then again, where the movie also further loses me is how he's able to decipher who were the criminals that, you know, robbed his house and murdered his wife and tried to kill his daughter. Because that's honestly the thing. He's able to figure out, you know, who the criminals were, you know, who it was that came after his house. He's able to figure that out in his own, you know, investigating, in his own digging. And, you know, after he finds them, he kills them, one of which really brutally in a garage shop. He literally just has a freaking car fall on the guy's face and his head just splatters. Then again, with this being an Eli Roth movie, you know there's gonna be some gory violence in there somewhere. But the issue I had with it is like, how is this guy, who again has no experience as a cop, as a private investigator, whatever, how is he able to do this digging, do this investigation, find the guys that robbed his house when the police aren't able to? I mean, right there, honestly, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, he's killed 2 of the guys who have robbed his house. He still has to kill the leader of these guys, who's, you know, still on the run, who was just recently in the hospital because he was able to escape Bruce Willis. It's also around this point, Bruce Willis's daughter has awoken from her coma. Bruce Willis now brings her home, but he also runs into the guy who is the leader of this robbery. He runs into him in the elevator, and Bruce Willis knows that he's the guy whose house they robbed. I think I said that all correctly. This is what happens when you talk fast like me, people. Sometimes you feel like you screw up your sentences. I'll probably realize it after I've edited my video. But anyways, at this point, this guy has now come back to Bruce Willis's house because he now wants to kill Bruce Willis. So Bruce Willis, you know, he hides his daughter safely. And here was where I thought we were going to get a big action throwdown between this guy and Bruce Willis. And really, this ended up being one of the most abrupt showdowns I've ever seen in any kind of action movie. Basically, what happens is Bruce Willis, he buys this, you know, secret storage cabinet gun thing that you can buy at the gun store. Literally, like, you hit a lever on this, like, desk or whatever, a gun pops out, like a fucking rifle or a machine gun, whatever it is, and yeah, it's a way for you to access your gun really quickly. So basically, the guy breaks into Bruce Willis's house. He's looking for his daughter. He's looking for him. He finds him in the basement. Looks like he's got him at his mercy. Then Bruce Willis just kicks open the desk, takes the machine gun, guns the guy down, and, you know, he's dead. So, you know, it's over. I was sitting there like, holy shit, I fucking blinked and the guy was dead. Really? And so yeah, at this point the police have, you know, arrived at his house, and, you know, they've now deemed that, you know, the criminal may have suspected that Bruce Willis or his daughter may have identified him in the original robbery, and that's why he came back, and Bruce Willis was in his right to kill him because, you know, he stormed in and he was just protecting his family. But yeah, they still kind of suspect he's the Grim Reaper. They just don't have any evidence to do it because these guys are just apparently not very good cops. So yeah, all in all, Death Wish was absolutely nothing worthwhile. Bruce Willis does a fine job in this movie. It's not the best I've seen him. It's not the worst I've seen him. Some of the kills that he pulls off in this movie, I actually sat there and was like, oh, holy shit. Oh, man, that's fucking brutal. But at the same time, the action in this movie, it's not that exciting. It's not that intense. I really didn't believe that Bruce Willis just became this complete badass overnight. You feel like, honestly, that he gets a pass because he's Bruce Willis. I'll bet you if they threw in any other actor who's not necessarily as big an action star as him, you wouldn't be willing to go along with it as much. Some people will be able to, but I just can't roll with it. I can't buy that a guy who was a surgeon, never had any combat experience in his life, just woke up, decided to be a badass and take on these guys, and he was successful in doing it. I didn't like how the movie made it that Bruce Willis was able to figure out the guys who robbed him, but the cops couldn't. I really wasn't a fan of the very anticlimactic showdown. And in the end, Death Wish is not going to be one of the most memorable movies of this year. I'm calling it right now. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.